Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you how to cook steak in a pan. It's actually a really simple process, so let's get right to it. The first thing that you should do is get some oil and put some oil in the pan, just like that, and then you want to turn the stove on. So I'm going to turn the stove on high and let this oil heat up. Now, while this oil is heating up, I'm just going to quickly season my steak. Now, I'm just using a very simple Montreal steak spice, but you can season your steak in many different ways. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this on this side right here. We will flip it over just like that, and then I'll sprinkle it on the other side as well, just like that. All right, so now that the steak is ready to go in the pan, we just have to pretty much wait until the oil heats up. So I'm just going to give it a few moments to get nice and hot. And the way that I'm going to measure this is by putting my hand over the pan like this, being careful not to actually touch the oil. I just want to make sure that I do feel a good amount of heat. So I'll be back when the oil is nice and hot. Alright, now that the oil in the pan is nice and hot, it's actually popping up, so it might be just a little bit too hot for nothing being in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the steak and I'm going to place it into the hot oil. Just like that. As you can see, it's nice. It's very, very nicely being grilled in that pan. Now the goal when you are frying a steak or when you are cooking a steak in a pan is you want to make sure that you don't continually turn it back and forth. You want to place it there and leave it there for, I would say, about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes, and then we're going to pick it up and turn it around. You only want to flip it once. So I'm just going to leave it here and let it sizzle for about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes, and then I will be back to flip it over. Alright, so as you can see, the steak has begun to cook on the underside, and now I'm going to use these tongs to flip it over. So I'm just going to get the tongs and we're going to flip the steak over to the other side, just like that. As you can see, this side looks amazing. Now, you're going to leave it cooking on this side for an additional 1 to 3 minutes, depending on how well done you want the steak to be. If you want it to be quite rare, then you're going to let it cook on this side for only about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. If you want it to be medium rare or even closer to well done, then you're going to leave it closer to the 3-minute mark. But you're going to let it sizzle on this side until it gets to the point where you want it to be in terms of how well done and how fully cooked it is. Alright, so at this point, the steak is almost where I want it to be in terms of how cooked it is. So what I like to do before I finish cooking it is I like to just cut up just a little piece of butter and put it into the oil and just let it sizzle. So just cut up a little piece of butter like that and put it into the oil. Be careful because just as you can see right here, the oil is quite hot, so it is popping on this pan. So just, mind the fact that the oil might be popping and be careful when you're dealing with it. So now as the butter is melting and the steak is almost finished cooking, what I like to do is I like to just take a spoon and I take that butter and I'm just going to put it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take the pan and tilt it this way. We get all of that buttery goodness. We take the spoon and we just throw it on top. Just like that. And it gives you a nice level of cooking on the top of the steak. It gives it a delicious flavor. A flavor like you've never tasted before. Just like that. So now that the steak is at the point where I want it to be with regards to how cooked it is, there's one final step that I do. One final thing that I do, and that is I just grill this little bit of fat right here. There's a little layer of fat on this side. So I simply pick the steak up. Let's get a good grip of it. And I just sizzle this side right here. Just like that. Just to really finish it off. Just allow the side to be sizzled. As you can see, it actually looks delicious in my opinion. I'm about to eat it and I cannot wait to cut it up and eat it. So I just allow the side of the steak to sizzle with the fat. Just like that. Just for a very, very brief few moments. Just like that. And then, now that it's done, what I'm going to do is simply turn the oven off, pull it up, put it in a plate, and as you can see, It looks absolutely delicious. This steak has been cooked to perfection with the pan. And that's basically it. In this video, I have shown you how to cook a steak in a pan. It's an easy process. Just follow the steps in this video and you'll be good to go. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.